Hello all. In this video we are going to talk about ancient Indian law or Hindu law. Hindu law is also called classical Hindu law. For your knowledge, ancient Indian law is more than 6,000 year old and Indian civilization is one of the oldest civilization of the world. Now, Hindus' laws were originally customary laws. Now, it is very important for you to know what are customary laws. Now, for that, it is important to know what customs are. Customs basically are long written practices which are followed by the people of any particular religion, caste, and when these practices are being followed since a long time, they become laws or customs. Now, Hindu laws were originally customary laws. Now, the problem with customs is that it was uncertain and sometimes it was also followed orthodoxically, like Sati Pratha and child marriage, and did not get into details due to which sole practices of law were not achieved. The ancient Hindu law is also known as classical Hindu law, and it has three sources. Ancient Indian law is derived from three sources, which is basically Shrutis, Smritis, and Achar. Now, it is very important for you to know that classical Indian law or Hindu law or ancient Indian law began in Vedic period and it ended in year 1772. One of the major sources of ancient Indian law is Shruti. Shruti refers to the four Vedas, which are mainly Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, and Atharvaveda. Though Veda doesn't contain any statement of law as such, but Veda basically contains some facts, and you can also find occasional references in Smritis and commentaries as conclusive evidence of local usage. Vedas are one of the most primary and important sources of law, and they are very important for ancient Indian law. The second source of Indian law is Smriti. If you know that prior teaching was conducted by sages and rishis who used to deliver their thoughts on Hindu law. Now, these authorities were philosophers, social thinkers, and teachers of that era. From spiritual to temporal, the entire code of conduct of life was preached by rishis and sons. They cover a wide range of area including behavior and relationship between husbands and wives, fathers and sons. It also covered punishments for sexual improprieties, social behavior, rules of governance, and principles of punishment. The Smritis are basically classified into three types. That is Manusmriti. Manusmriti is the first and the most ancient Smriti of all and was compiled at a later date and was not in Vedic language. And the third is Narada Smriti. Let's first discuss about Manusmriti. Manusmriti, basically dharma, is the combination of moral law, as you must know, and spiritual discipline that guide one's life. Hindus consider dharma the very foundation of life. Dharma is the law of being, and it is something which we cannot exist without. Manusmriti is one of the oldest works which describes about Hindu law. Manusmriti was compiled around 200 in BC. Manu was accepted as the first expositor of law. Manusmriti is regarded as the oldest codification of rulers of Dharma, which is a comprehensive term for all rulers of righteous conduct in every sphere of human activities. Dharma regulates the right and duty of individual in order to ensure peace and harmony and happiness for all the people by harmonizing the interest of individual and society. Manusmriti is divided into 12 chapters which contains or consists 2694 verses. Now, these chapters include topics such as creation of universe, definition of dharma, source of dharma, celibacy, studentship, marriage, mode of life, rule governing food, Raj Dharma. Raj Dharma are basic duties of a king. Now, we will talk about discipline under ancient civil laws. Now, several subject matter in civil laws are given in Smriti, which are Run Adana, Nikshipa, Asvavidkaya. Now, what do they really mean? Sambhuya Samudhana, which is regarding the partnerships and contracts. Vetananda, Vetananda is related to payment of wages, and Vibhagaya, which is related to partition. Mortgage is related to title under adverse possessions, deposits, labors, laws, etc. And subjects like Sima Vivada, which are related to boundary disputes. And now, boundary dispute could be like when two people claim on same land. So, it is what it is solved under. Stripum Dharma, which are related to duties of husband and wife and duties which are included in a matrimonial relationships. And it also tells about Vibhaga, which are related to partition, and mortgage, which are related to sanctity of gifts, titles under adverse possessions, deposits, labor laws, etc. Now let's see what comes under ancient criminal laws. Now, several subjects of matters are included in criminal laws which are given in Smritis, which are defamation, assault, theft, offense by violence, and adultery. These all are considered as immoral acts. Now, the special responsibilities of the king in matters of controlling such crimes and detection of crimes under Manusmriti are to detect the offenders, to punish the offenders. They also have the right for their self defense. They have the right to take decision regarding quantum of penalties. Now we'll talk about ancient procedural laws with reference to Smriti. According to Smriti, the decisions of a king should always be based upon Smriti. Distinction between executive and judicial powers of the king should always be on Smriti. It also says that an eye evidence or an eyewitness is always admissible. It always says that there should be a review of judgment, there should be basis of defeats, and there should be a penalty for failure to give evidence. Neither king nor his servants can suppress any case, and dispensation of justice is considered as the highest dharma of the judges. There should always be a collection of court fee from defendant when suit is decreed. So this was all. Thank you so much.